because this is in your defense, but as Nigerians, right? As Nigerians, we're Africans, right? And you getting married to a Nigerian and an African, that means it makes you an African, all right? Like I started the interview, I said you are our in-law, so you are married to all of us, right?
Yes.
The only person that has the legal right, you understand, is Usman. But being African, you're married to all of us. Now, I'm going to ask you this: are you planning to have kids with Usman?
By the grace of God, I am still able to make children. So if it happens, that's fantastic. And this is another thing that maybe you need to educate Americans about, because we've tried, but they're not buying. It goes here and not here. Because my husband is of the Islamic faith. In Nigeria, he is entitled to 4 wives. I will be the first wife. And as long as he can provide for my household and what I need, he can take the second wife. If I cannot bear him children, he has no desire to take a second wife. But if it deems that he has to, he will.
And you are okay to accommodating a second wife?
Yes, because I'm here in the United States. I'm not living in Nigeria. So, he never planned to move to the United States on a full-time basis. Never.
So you're Christian?
I am Christian doing the conversion to Islamic with my husband's guidance upon his arrival to the United States. But right now, that's not happening.
So why did you call him a scammer?
Because if you go on a show and say the things that he's been saying since early March, that's not good.
That's why. All right. My thing to you is, what if you get married to a woman that you don't get along with? What are you going to do? If you get married to another woman you don't get along, what are you going to do?
We don't live in the same household, so really it's not going to concern me what goes on in her household, is it?
So what if you decide that you all live in the same house?
That will not happen. Usman cannot afford that type of housing, to be honest with you. He cannot afford that type of housing.
So being the first wife, why don't you think you should be more accommodating to allow him, if he brings other wives in, for you to be the first wife that takes care of everything?
To bring her into the family, that's not a problem. But as it stands right now, being married to Usman, I financially take care of myself. My husband doesn't take care of me.
2 days ago, you said you wanted him in jail. Why did you do that?
If he goes to prove that he's doing what he's doing on these interviews, he's proving to the world that he's scammed me. Now, I pray, with that being said, this is not the fact. Because a lot of things are being dropped through the internet that are coming to my ears and my eyes.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? If you called your husband a scammer 2 days ago, and you're on the show today calling him your husband, right? Don't you think that as a Nigerian, as your in-law, don't I feel like you're waiting for Usman to come to America and then you put him in trouble and you'll be in jail for the rest of his life?
No. That's Usman's misconception. And that's only because of the vile Americans that follow him. If I was in Nigeria and if there was any truth to what is being exposed on the internet, that he tried to hustle me, you know for a fact it's not legal in Nigeria to pull this game. His family would not agree with this at all. Nobody would agree with this. So with all the interviews that he's dropping, I pray he's done this for a publicity stunt, that he has not used me.
You respect Usman?
I respect my husband. I talked to my husband earlier. Now, my husband's so-called manager wanted to do a live broadcast with my promoter, Rocco. Now, I gave my husband the option to go live, one-on-one, him and I, on this platform of Instagram. He has refused to do that. It makes me wonder why. Because
why did he block you? Why did he block you on Instagram?
Why he blocked me is because there was a situation with another blogger who told him, either you block her down and I'll have all my people follow you. You go on your live and you tell everyone you have blocked her. Drop her. Do not speak to her. And he did that. That was an insult to me as being a Nigerian wife. You don't let any American try to blackmail him for followers. It's just not. The person has maybe 8,000 followers. You just don't do that kind of stuff to your wife. You don't disrespect your wife that way.
So far you feel like Usman, you feel your husband has disrespected you by the things he has said at different interviews?
Yes, very much so. And I told him from here on out, any interview that he does, I will re-interview.
Okay, so
choose your words very carefully is what I told my husband. Choose them very cautiously.
So the other day I saw you posting stuff on your Instagram, posting about the boy. There's a guy you were posting on your Instagram. Who was that?
That is a very good friend of mine. And I took him off because he was starting to get hate mail in his DM. Before Usman, I was in Nigeria via social media for several years. And I told him, I said, I'm going to drop you off because if you're getting this type of hate mail, it's only going to get worse. And being that he is a Nigerian, people do not fully understand. I don't fully understand the culture of Nigeria. But I didn't want people jumping in his DM with hate. Because Nigerians are not about hate. That's why I'm shocked at my husband's behavior on doing the interviews that he's doing.
Okay, something you said, right? You said if you were going to report Usman to the government, right, and that he tried to hustle you before you guys got on the show, right? Why would you try to do that when he has already brought you open, you're married to him? It's not like he's asking, does Usman ask you for money?
I will remain silent.
So you're thinking that, so you have a joker, because from what you say, I feel like you have a joker, right? You have a joker in your hand that any day he messes up, and if he's in America, you're going to put him straight in jail because you feel like he was a scammer or he's a scammer and he's trying to hustle you.
Why would I bring him to America if I believed in my heart he was truly a scammer? I'm sitting back observing my husband's behavior at this time. I'm watching. There's no joke about it. Because if I truly believe in my heart that he is a scammer, I will never apply for a visa ever.
So right now you don't think he's a scammer?
I don't know what my husband's doing. I don't know where his head is, his psychological thinking, but what I'm seeing from these interviews, that's not my husband.
So you need to, it's a yes or no question. So do you think he's a scammer, yes or no?
No, it's not a yes or no question.
Because he's your husband, so if he's your husband,
it happens.
Because you had called him a scammer, so if
Let me tell
he's
you
not a scammer.
Okay, Nigeria sees it differently. Americans, this happens every day. If a husband is unfaithful to their wife, they're cheating. So, as an American, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to observe my husband's behavior because I do love him. But if this type of behavior continues, then I'm going to start questioning the past 3 years of my life with him.
So why did you get married to someone you don't know?
I do know him. That's what I'm saying. Hear me clearly. I've known Usman Umar 2 years solid. The whole time in Nigeria, we did what he wanted for the show. No problem. When I returned to the United States in September of last year, I had health reasons. I was in the hospital for gangrene in my toe. I was in Nigeria, my foot was injured. Okay? My husband's telling a whole different story, which my medical records will be released for this. I had surgery in February. I had to have my toe amputated. So when I returned is when all this drama started. Is when this all started. So this is not while Nigeria. This is not prior to Nigeria. It's, this is something that started after the show, after I returned to the United States.
So can I ask you a question? Did you ever try to kill yourself? Did you ever try to commit suicide?
No. As I said on my live broadcast before, in 2007, day of delivery, I was to be the happiest woman on earth. deliver a baby girl. My daughter died inside me 2 hours before the C-section. My mother died the same year. If I wasn't suicidal at that time, I would never think of committing suicide over a man that I loved. Never. Never.
But Usman said you tried to commit suicide.
Yeah, he said I was in the hospital because I tried to poison myself. Now, with that being said, Usman was on the phone video chatting with my doctor because he is Nigerian. Usman was in the hospital when I was sent there in October because gangrene was in my foot. So as I tell you, I'm sitting and I'm observing and I'm watching these interviews he's doing with people.
All right.
I'm not here to gain followers. I'm not here to gain nothing. I'm here to interview with you, give you as much as I can. I'm not here for popularity, publicity, nothing of the sort. You know, it's nothing to be.
Okay, let's flip this the other way, right? Briefly. What do you do outside being our in-law? What else do you do?
What do I do as far as my employment?
Your work, yeah.
Oh, okay. You might not understand this because Usman really flubbed this one up on the show. I'm a hospice caregiver, which means I take care of the dying. Here in the United States, they hire people to take care of their families to the day that they die.
Yeah.
Over there, Usman could not translate that to his mother to what I do. But that's what I am. I'm a hospice caregiver.
Oh, I know about care. A lot of Nigerians own care homes in America.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So, but there's something that is very, very thought-provoking. Why can't you live in Nigeria?
Because Usman doesn't feel I would be comfortable there because of the things that I've been born and raised with here in the United States. A simple thing that Usman always made a joke about is the cellular service, the electricity, the water flow, things of that nature.
All right, let's talk about George Floyd.
Say again?
Let's talk about the protests in America.
Yes.
So, the police, the cops have been killing the blacks in America. What's your take on that?
That cop, I'm so furious, and I was on Katun's Live about this. That cop was charged with third-degree murder, which in America, you know what that means? He's going to get away with the murder of that young man. They will plead it down. He probably will never see jail time, ever. Ever.
Are you angry? Are you pissed about that?
I'm real pissed about it. Apparently he didn't watch because it's not a big thing, but because we have so many platforms from doing the show, we created a video to put out there that we hear you, we see you. We will not remain silent. You know, there's other ones that I promoted because George Floyd is more than just a hashtag. That was a son, a father, a